Welcome to the Soul Gym.
We are your Soul Gym sisters. I'm Jody Van Kempen.
And I am Crystal Van Kempen McClanahan. So, hey, you guys, thanks for tuning in for this week's Boot Camp for Your Soul. Hey, we are your inner strength coaches.
I really like that.
You like that,
Inner
huh?
strength
We are your
coaches.
We have always been strength coaches.
We have been.
But we're also your inner strength coaches.
Strong from the inside
That's
out.
right. Our mission is to help you go from fizzling to sizzling exactly by toning up flabby thinking and developing mental muscle. Hey, it's time to feel strong, live healthy, and fulfill God's audacious plan for your life. Hey, welcome to the Soul Gym. This is exciting.
This is.
So, Jody, where are we going with this one?
I say we talk about Thanksgiving
Hey,
today.
exactly.
Since Thanksgiving is upon us.
Yep.
It's, in a week?
We said it's our favorite holiday.
It really is.
We love it. Jody's making the turkey.
I make a mean
Yes,
turkey.
you do.
I make a mean turkey.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to all the goodies. And so I am extremely grateful this year.
Man.
And so that's what we're going to discuss, how important gratitude is.
Right. But we're not in a real gracious culture these days, are we?
We really are not. And the title of our message today is, get ready, are you a gracious Greta or a grievance-filled Gary?
Sorry, Gary, not our uncle. We don't mean you, Gary.
He's very grateful.
He is very grateful.
We are living in a grievance culture.
Yeah.
Look around. Everywhere you look, people are complaining.
Yep.
Everywhere you look, people are mad. They're upset because someone did something they don't like,
Yep.
or looked at them the wrong way, or had a tone they didn't much care for. Which one are
Yeah.
you? We are living in a victimhood culture that sees slights and offense in everything.
In everything.
The clerk was rude. Your coworkers don't pull their weight. You work harder than everyone else. Yada, yada, yada.
Gratitude. That's what we're talking about. Gratitude. When don't you love just hanging around people who are grateful? There's something about gratitude. It just opens up your world. It expands it. It sees abundance. Whereas that grievance culture, man, it just shrinks your soul. You know, we were always talking about taking care of your soul, but grievances are all about shrinking your soul, and you just begin to operate on the flip side, out of scarcity, out of negativity. And so gratitude, that word comes from the Latin gratia, and it means grace, graciousness, and gratitude. It is that thankful appreciation. You know, the last couple of weeks we have been talking about, our enemy, the devil, and he has a spirit of an ingrate. The devil's presence is all about ingratitude, that spirit of pride. And wherever the devil is, he spawns this spirit of ungratefulness. And we were talking about social media. We've been always talking about social media, but boy, social media can really spawn a spirit of ungratefulness.
Yeah, I was talking with my daughter, and she goes on Instagram a lot, and then she deletes her account. And we were talking about it, and I said, why do you do that? And she said, it gets you in a mode of comparison.
Yeah.
And comparison is the enemy of gratitude. Now think about it. When you're on social media and someone is taking that trip to Hawaii or France or Italy and you're not there, I mean, this is what the devil does. He gets in there and goes, that should be you.
Right.
Your last trip was to
Pahrump.
to Pahrump.
You went to Pahrump.
You went to Laughlin. And what happens is you start comparing and you begin to be ungrateful for what you have.
Yeah.
And that is the enemy's tool. Or someone, looks better than you or has the hairstyle that you've always wanted. And we can get on there and become so ungrateful for what we have. So we really got to watch out for social media and how it can really breed an attitude of gratefulness.
Right. And so when we're talking about, we're asking you to check your heart. And I was just telling Jody, this week when we're trying to set up, what we were going to be talking about, and it's gratitude. Sure enough, here comes that devil to like throw something in my face. And pretty soon I am not grateful. In fact, I'm kind of ticked at one person in my world. And I'm just like, man, how quick your eyes can turn onto the wrong thing, and now I'm feeling like a victim. So this grievance or gratitude, in a moment, you can go from one heart to the next. And so we always have to constantly be checking ourselves instead of, that body language shrinking. We talk about, boy, that is a sure sign to throw those hands in the air and start praising God and being thankful for what you have. But we are in such a victim culture. I mean, and we were saying, if you're going to look around, you're going to see injustice everywhere. You're going to see things that are unfair. But I'm telling you, if you're really looking for them, you're going to find them. But it seems like the heart of a person like that, they're just looking for a fight.
Yeah.
They are just looking for a fight. And what I see it too on social media, and not just the attacks, but this grievance culture is just this constant, this chronic complaining about the system, we get it. We talk about the system and how, that the world's culture is just not, what we want to be a part of. But you can sit and complain. You can do something about it, or you can shift your focus to the things that you do have.
This is what happens. Every day you wake up, you can find something wrong in your life. Every one of us can. Even those movie stars, rock stars on Instagram, there will always, and I mean always, be something to complain about. Your kids aren't acting up, your husband's rude to you, you don't have enough money, you broke your right toe. I mean, there's always going to be something. But here's the challenge. What are you going to focus on?
Right.
You can either wake up during the day and your focus can be on what you have, what's going right, what your husband did for you a few days ago, how your kids, got straight A's. There's always something to be grateful for. It is a matter of what you focus on. And the Bible says to be carnally minded is death. To focus on the lack, to focus on the need, to focus on the I don't have, I wish my life would change, to focus on the problem. Literally, the Bible says will kill you. It will kill you mentally, it'll kill you physically, it'll kill you emotionally. But to be spiritually minded, to put your thoughts on things higher, to put your thoughts, the Bible says, on those things that are true and honest and good and lovely and pure. I mean, to me, good, lovely, pure, true are all the things that we should be grateful for. But problems and sorrow and suffering, and those are the things God says avoid thinking about. So what we're going to focus on today is where are your thoughts?
Right.
What are we focused on? What are we paying attention to? Focus on gratitude.
When I'm ungrateful, that's when my life is the worst.
Yes.
When I've just got a bitter pill and something's happened, I mean, I'm in a world of hurt. So this comes from personal experience. When I am grateful and thankful for the things I have, there is more joy. More peace, more love. And so not only from personal experience are we speaking, but Jody and I were looking at a lot of research studies. There's so much study on the power of gratitude. Here are just a few things that research says that a heart of gratitude really improves our well-being. People who are grateful have a high sense of well-being. They have a high sense of satisfaction with their life. There's a word they use called, and I was trying to find the actual translation, eudaimonic, and that person has this sense that their life matters. Man, who doesn't want to have their life matter? And it's gratitude is also strongly linked to authentic living. When you're grateful, there is just such there's more ease in your life. You just don't walk around being a phony. You just live this authentic life.
And you're a whole lot funner to be around.
You are so much more fun. Yeah. I mean, we run from people who are the grievance culture.
Yeah, complainers, whiners.
Yeah, no, don't want to be around those kind of people. Gratitude increases mental strength. The mental muscle that we talk about all the time. There's a couple of studies. In 2006, there is a study from the Behavior Research and Therapy Organization. And what they did is they measured Vietnam vets. And they found out that Vietnam vets with higher levels of gratitude had much lower levels of PTSD. That is incredible. There's another study in 2003 in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, and it said gratitude is a major contributor to resilience. And what they did is they measured it following the terrorist attacks of 9/11. And said that when you recognize all that you have, even in the worst of times, it fosters tremendous mental resilience. There is something to be said about that. Man, because tough times happen.
You're going to go one way or the other.
You really are.
Bad tragedy, bad situations happen.
Yeah.
You will either sink into despair and depression, or the strength it takes to grab yourself and focus on something positive rather than negative.
Yeah, and it's developing that mental muscle. You said that that was what got you through one of the worst times of your life.
In my divorce, I think I said it last week, the number one thing that saved me was I had been studying gratitude and thankfulness for the longest time. And as it was all going down in my marriage, I mean, that was the thing that kept me from sinking. Not that I didn't have moments of utter despair and sadness, but I kept, with God's help, pulling myself out of self-pity and the darkness and really focusing on who I had in my life and what all the good things going on and my wonderful children. I'm still alive. I have a car. I have a home. I have food, just really with everything in me focusing on the good rather than the bad.
Yeah, exactly. And so research, come on, it's only obvious that a gracious heart, a heart of gratitude would benefit our overall health.
Yeah.
And so study after study after study says that gratitude significantly lowers the risk of depression, generalized anxiety disorder, phobias, nicotine dependence, drug and alcohol dependence. It lowers the risk for bulimia, relieves stress. It primes you for better sleep. I mean, so if you're struggling, with any of these things, check your heart. I mean, are you grateful for the things that are in your life? Like I said, this just happened to me yesterday. And I missed it there for a second. But boy, you get yourself back out. You refocus on the things that matter. We remember the good things in our life. The third area is our relationships. We just said grievance, filled Gary, not fun to be around. And so it's people who are gracious and are thankful. I mean, that it strengthens relationships when you're around someone like that. I think I said to you guys out there, that my husband's a chef. And I've cooked one time in my entire 30 years of marriage. One time. Not that I haven't made myself soup or something, but he just owns that kitchen. And to not take that for granted. That nearly every night of my life, he is prepped. He loves to go to the store every day. And he cooks for me every single day. I mean, I don't want to miss the opportunity to be grateful, so I always try to, tell him how wonderful it is and be grateful for his time and preparing that meal for me. So
And that's why they're still married for 20, how many years? 7 years? 8 years?
going on 30.
Oh, going on. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why they're still married. 30
Oh
years.
man, to appreciate each other, you can really take each other for granted. But gratitude also promotes forgiveness. Again, it makes sense that this gracious heart is just open to forgive. They're not seeking out the grievance or to be offended. It builds deeper connections with people, and that's what we need. We are so lacking connection in this culture, in our churches, in our world. And so start being grateful and watch the connections deepen in your family life, in your friends, in your network of people. And it also, gratitude promotes conflict resolution. Once again, it just makes sense. You don't want all this conflict. You're willing to forgive and let things go. So the benefits of gratitude are this just barely touches the surface. It goes on and on and on. You can find study after study. And like we said, personal experience. We're speaking from personal experience. So how do we go about cultivating a gracious heart, a heart full of gratitude? And one of the things is to focus on what you have. It's easy to forget the things that God has done. And God is always saying, remember what I've done. And so we don't want to forget. We want to appreciate the little things in life. I think that's where it starts. I think that's just a great place to live. So Jody, what are some of the little things in your life that you just are so grateful for?
I do not take for granted coffee. Never. I will sit there and drink my coffee. You know how you can just sit and be doing something and not consciously realize I'm drinking coffee? But I have been really lately sitting in my living room in the morning, appreciating the quietness of the morning, spending my time with God. And I was thinking, you know what, God, you didn't have to make coffee, but you made coffee. And I believe you made coffee just for me, God, and I appreciate it. I love naps. Yep. I love a good nap in the afternoon. I love, like I said, my quiet time, and I love, don't hate me, candy.
Don't hate.
I love candy.
Yep, she loves candy. And I love waking up and going to the refrigerator and popping. I love the tab on the can, popping that soda and getting that burn down my throat. I love it. I appreciate it. If I was in maybe a different country, I just wouldn't have that luxury to be able to walk over to a fridge and pop a soda whenever you feel like it. I don't want to miss out on how grateful I am for that morning ritual. There's another one. Now that it's starting to get chilly, I love sipping on bone broth. I just love it. I do put a little salt in there. I know it's already salty, and a little pepper.
Try it.
It's got all this protein in it. It's just good for your soul. It feels good for your soul.
I've been telling people about it. They're like, what is that? Oh, yeah.
Oh,
you will love
do
it. And it's good for you.
It's good for you. Bone broth, not just chicken broth.
Yeah.
You got to get the bone broth.
And where do you get it at?
I get it at Walmart. And it's like less than $3, in this fun little box. But get it, try it. It is just a good for your soul afternoon little sipping. I love it. Jody and I live to laugh. And so we appreciate just, you know what? And Jody and I mean, we love to see other people laugh.
Yeah.
It doesn't irritate us when a table busts a gut in a restaurant. We just get tickled by that. I know other people get really irritated by that, but we just think, the gift of laughter is just, we appreciate it so much. There's a couple other things. I love this jalapeno popcorn. I love it so much. As you can see, I'm the salty, and Jody's a little bit more of the sweet. And there's another ritual that I have after I worked in my office and sat quite a bit. I typically work out first thing in the morning, and we appreciate that. And then I love to take a late afternoon walk, and it's just something
The weather here.
yeah. Oh man, here we are in Vegas. We appreciate this. We don't get rain that often.
Yeah.
But the last couple of days where it rained, and then the next day, the smell and the crispness and the air, it's just
It's heaven.
gorgeous. It really is just absolutely heaven. And so just appreciate those little fun things. Start to note them. You know, look at Jody and I, you know, when we were talking about this, now we're sitting here both grinning, you know, at just these little pleasures. We don't want to take them for granted. We don't want to take the people in our lives for granted.
Yeah, never.
I think we can do that really easy. You know, people don't have to be in our life, and they choose to be in our life. And I met yesterday with a dear, dear friend of mine. You know, and we always hear that if you live this life with one or two really good friends, you are a very wealthy person. And so I want to appreciate the people. And we can really not appreciate our closest family members. Like I was just saying with, you know, my husband and Jody, you always talk about appreciating your kids and having fun with them and not missing out on those opportunities.
And it's so important to vocalize it. I mean, to
good
tell
point.
people
Yeah.
rather than, you know, we always think it. Oh, boy, I like this about them. I appreciate this. But the Bible always talks about when praising God to vocalize thanksgiving, shout with thanksgiving, sing with thanksgiving. He's telling us to open up our mouth and say it. I mean, people aren't going to know unless you say it. So be sure and tell people, you know, how much you appreciate them, and be specific. You know, I really appreciate you. Go into detail what they do. People just love that. I love how you're so kind and giving to our kids, or I love how you take care of the stuff around the house. I tell my kids, I love how appreciative they are. Every time I cook them a meal, every one of them go around the table and thank me. And I told them the other day, I said, I am so appreciative of how much you appreciate me.
Yeah. Isn't that funny how that works?
Yeah. So really vocalize it. Tell your kids, tell your husband, tell your friends how much you appreciate. We all need to be valued.
We do.
We all need to be told. And you know what? You can have a husband, you can have a wife who's done something for you for 30 years, and you just take it for granted. Say they take out the trash every Friday or Thursday night, and they've done it year after year. You just start assuming that's what they do. That's what they should do. No, they don't have to. You know, it hit me a while back. No one has to do anything for me. Well, my kids do, but I mean, friends or your spouse or whatever, they don't have to help you. They don't have to encourage you. They don't have to go fill the car with gas for you. They choose to because they love you. And so once we start taking things for granted, I think a lot of us or a lot of people realize this after we lose a loved one. You know, they go on to be with the Lord, and they've done something for their spouse for so long, and then it's over, and we go, wow, you know, I don't think I fully appreciated this person. So don't wait. You know, if they've been doing something, say your wife has been taking care of those kids for 5, 10, 20 years. They take them to band rehearsal. They take them to gymnastics. They drop them off at school. They pick them off at school. They help them. Tell them, man, I appreciate it. It's not just something people do. They choose to do it because they want to do it. So...
And with us being in education for years and years and years, thank your kid's teacher.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I've had some really wonderful teachers, and being at the school, there's some of the most wonderful people on the planet. And so don't forget the opportunity to say thanks to your kid's teacher. We talked about the rain. You know, appreciate the beauty of where you're at.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, living where we're at, it's just, they say the leaves don't change, but I'm seeing the leaves change.
Yeah.
You know, they're turning yellow and red, and it's gotten chilly, and like we said, the rain. Appreciate nature, appreciate what God has made. He made it for us to enjoy. I mean, there's nothing like, driving from here and going seeing the Grand Canyon, and just don't miss that opportunity to just really look around and see with fresh eyes the beauty of what God has created. Another way and how to really express gratitude or to cultivate that heart of gratitude. It sounds very cliche, but to focus on the positive, meaning there's just crap going down all the time. Let it go. And we could all hold on to stuff. We could all hold on to a grudge. We could all, see an offense, a slight in anything, but just let it go. There is always, always, always something to be grateful for. And finally, it's not for everybody, but I do it every single day. I do have a gratitude journal. I've done it for a number of years, and it's sometimes during the day you're like, okay, what am I grateful for? I talk about what's happened in the day, but what it does is when you find that thing to be grateful for, and then you go back and you start reading through them over the years, it certainly helps you or reminds you what God has done in your life. Because you can forget, but when you've written it down and you can go back and revisit it, you might be going through some things, but you go back and go, wow. Look at what God has done. And so we suggest keeping a gratitude journal. I mean, in our course that we've launched, there's a thinking journal in there. And it helps you to really think through what happened in your day. And we always think that we should finish our day with, saying something that we're grateful for. So, Jody, anything else?
I heard something interesting the other day. A minister said, God said to him, there is no place between gratitude and ungratefulness. You can never be in the place of, well, I'm neither grateful nor am ungrateful. So think about that. Every day you wake up, you choose a side, of being grateful or ungrateful. And it is a choice. And I can hear some people going, well, you have no idea what I'm going through. Well, again, we do go through some really challenging times, but I am telling you the quickest way to get out of it is gratitude. To open up your mouth, to sing praises to God, to first and foremost be grateful for Him and what He's done. And you watch your attitude change, your mood change. All of a sudden, unknown strength will start filling you. Light will crack through the darkness. I'm telling you, God said this is a way. Being grateful will push back darkness no matter what you're going through. But it is a choice to go, no, I'm done. I'm going to get up. I'm going to gird myself up. I'm going to choose to be thankful and joyful and watch everything start to change.
Jody, you hit it. It was the key. The second you wake up.
Yeah.
I mean, to capture that thought, because that devil will be there, to get your eyes on something.
To stir you up.
That's right. Mm-hmm. So from the second those eyes open, just start being grateful. So you guys, I know I want to be a grateful Greta and not a grievance-filled Gary.
Oh, no.
Research, personal experience. I'm sure you know it in your own life, but research alone says that a grateful heart just has greater well-being, stronger health, stronger relationships. You guys, we need to focus on what we have, appreciate the small things, and don't take the people in your life for granted. Tell them today how grateful you are for them and what you're grateful grateful for. Mental Muscle Challenge, if you have not begun a gratitude journal, try it. Try it for a while. There is something about writing these things out that just, it really starts to change your attitude. And so be a grateful Greta. You guys, thank you so much for listening to this week's Soul Gym. We would appreciate you subscribing, you sharing this podcast with your friends. Any support you can provide, we would just love it. Keep talking about us. We just think that this message of the goodness of God is just the most life-changing message we could send. Check out our website at soulgymsisters.com. Anything else there, sweet Sue? Or sweet Jody?
Yeah, well, I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Yep, happy Thanksgiving. We will catch you next week on Black Friday, the Soul Gym, where we whip flabby thinking into shape and develop mental muscle. Bye.